Welcome back to On the Couch with Tony and Nikki, where this week we are covering a sort of quite a serious subject, really. That's the subject of extramarital affairs and sexual philandering.
Yes, this is a kind of really serious subject that we have a lot of people come to us about, because really what they're trying to find out is either why has it happened to me, why has my partner found intimacy with somebody else, or why do I keep doing it? So that's kind of what we want to cover today.
Yeah, I'm going to deal with the men and Nikki's going to deal with the girls, so let's get to it and see where we get. And so yeah, from a man's viewpoint, I mean obviously both of us have both experienced this. It took us like 40 odd years each to work out how to get an intimate relationship exactly where you want it. And of course in that time where we were getting it not so right, we had all sorts of experiences, so we're very experienced in this subject, both on the negative side and how you solve it ultimately on the other side. And so from a man's viewpoint, what primarily goes on, which most men really don't understand, is that I always say that about 90% of men, which is a pretty big chunk of men, but that's our experience, 90% of men are running their life from what we call their secondary energy. So men, we're really born to be men. We're born to sort of lead, we're born to be decisive, we're born to be powerful and all of those things. And what many of us are doing is like we've got a button and we've turned it down, and we've turned our power down, and we've gone more and started to utilise our secondary energy, or our more feminine energy, sort of allowing life to run us, trusting things will all be great and what have you. Now sexually, of course, that doesn't really work, because as a man your core energy needs fulfilling, and if you're in your secondary energy, what normally happens is that in your intimate relationships your connection starts to get very weak. You move away from each other, and then your sexual needs aren't being met, so you start to move off and look for that elsewhere, whatever that might look like.
Yeah, and from the woman's perspective, what starts off normally as a need to have an intimate connection, have intimate conversations about your needs and about, how life needs to be. We have that need, and what starts off as just talking to somebody else, somebody who we're in better polarity with, maybe, this is why the archetype boss kind of secretary affair is so common, is because there you've got a woman who really wants to support a man, not look after him as it were, but really support him, and there you have a man who's taking charge and leading. And so what starts off that then becomes often intimate, not always, sexually intimate, or not always, and then the woman feels like, oh my god, I've got like two relationships going here, and this one feels so much better than the one that I'm possibly committed to. And the other thing that women find out is that they go, why does this happen to me? Why does my man go somewhere else? Well, again, here's the thing. If you are not prepared to look at yourself and go, what am I doing? Do I nag the hell out of him every time he comes home? Do I tell him that I'm too busy with the children? Do I do all the things that cause him to think, well, bloody hell, I need to look for somewhere else for a woman to respond to me in the way that I want her to? So, that's, the really bottom line of why it happens to you, or why you go and do it as a woman.
So really, if we ultimately are looking for what we've always recognised since we found each other, it's what we were always looking for, was a real loving, close connection with another human being. When you're off having an affair, think about it, that's really what you're looking for. But most people don't actually realise that's what they're doing, interestingly. They're just, like for men, we get this sort of sexual drive going, and we think, oh my gosh, it's like, for me it was a bit like a drug, oh gosh, I need another fix of that. Where really what I wanted to do was to feel the closeness and the energy of a woman near to me, and obviously to love her. But that was coming out in a very unhealthy way, really, because I wasn't feeling good about myself. So really, if our message here today about affairs and philandering is anything, it's all about the reality is the underlying cause would all be either because a woman's not feeling good about herself, or a man's not feeling good about himself, and so he's looking for somebody else to make him feel or her feel good about themselves.
Yes, because we had somebody come here recently, didn't we? And we just heard her talking about this affair she was having, and realising, and when she was scoring it, her relationship at a scale of 0 to 10 something, she's saying, like it's a 2. Right? Well, this is where your standards are very low. So it's like a believing that this affair is giving you what you want, where in actual fact, it's not real life. It's like something where you're going, you're having some experience that is not a real relationship. So, what, as Tony says, just to look at yourself, look at your standard for what you're experiencing. And then the next thing is really to start to say, or maybe you may need help on this, to say, how can I be more truthful with my partner? How can I, having looked at myself and seen my patterns, how can I speak to my partner and tell that truth? And that's what we would normally be saying to people.
Yeah, we'd also be saying, look at your patterns, look at what you're doing. Are you sitting up late at night talking on SMN and Skype and all those chat rooms and all that sort of stuff, when actually you're in a relationship? I mean, this is what we call an emotional affair. It wouldn't necessarily have to be sexual. Many relationships going on around the world today on the internet, where really all you're looking for, there's like a draw. Think about it. If you've done this, there's a draw to that other person. Many times with men, they'll have like half a dozen women on the old typewriter there, and they'll be looking to have great connection. You see, and how would it be that, as we said earlier, the underlying reason is because you don't feel good about yourself and you're looking for somebody else to make you feel good, make you feel wanted. So if you're struggling with any problem on this front, where you really don't know what to do or how to stop that pattern, or it's like really getting you down and you really want to experience the love that you ultimately know that is what you're searching for, then we put a shiny new button on the homepage of our website. We call it the Emergency Relationship Help button. So, go there, click that button if you think, do you know what, there's more to life than getting stuck in this pattern, and I really want to experience love, but actually it's not really meeting my needs. So get on there, ask the questions away and fill in the thing, and we'll get back to you. That's what we're here for, that's what we do. And so enjoy asking for help, as we say.
Absolutely, there's no need to go through this pain any longer.
Good. So that's it really from the TNTV On the Couch with Tony and Nikki this week. So from me, Tony V, and my beautiful wife,
Nikki V,
we'll be seeing you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.